So, my name's Meulin, and I heard that you guys were doing this thing where you get to have a little sit down and you get to talk to all these other people from alternate timelines, and I'd really like to do that with you guys because I want to talk about shipping. That's mostly the reason why. But I know that, I get to answer a lot of other questions too, and I get to see all the other trolls, and I'd really be excited to do this thing with you guys. So I thought I'd do this little audition video because I know that you guys have some questions for me, and hopefully you'll pick me and everything will be perfect. So, I wrote these questions down in my dream journal, although it's not really my dream journal anymore because I live in a dream bubble. So, now I kind of just use it for a lot of shipping, and when I say a lot of shipping, I mean a lot of shipping, but we're gonna get to that later. So, I have all of these questions written down, and I will answer them for you guys. So, my first question, what do you think of your best friend? Well, first of all, I have to think of who's my best friend, and my best friend would probably, obviously, have to be Kurlos. Kurlos Makara is my best friend, mostly because he used to be my mate sprite, but then some stuff happened that I don't really like to talk about, and Kurlos doesn't talk about it either, because he can't really talk about anything. Ever. So, yeah, but aside from that, Kurlos is my best friend, and I've kind of forgiven him for stuff that has happened in the past, even though he thinks that I probably shouldn't forgive him, but that's okay. And I guess the reason why he's my best friend is because even after everything that happened, he still wanted to talk to me, and he even learned sign language so that way we could talk to each other. And that was really nice of him, and he didn't really have to do that. I mean, he kind of had to do that because he can't talk otherwise, but the fact that he wanted to learn it so that way we could communicate with each other was still really awesome of him. So, yeah, and it's like we could be standing in a public place and we get to have little secret conversations, and it's really, really cool. But, I guess even after the accident, the fact that he still wanted to talk to me after everything that happened, that was really cool because, I know that some stuff that happened between Mina and some other people, she ended up disappearing for a really long time, and I was kind of worried that that was what was going to happen with Kurlos, but then he stayed, and it was really, really cool, and plus he's a really nice guy, and sometimes people think he's creepy, but I think that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. And so it's really, really cool, and plus, he gets to talk about cool stuff with me, and I like being his little secret keeper. It's really, really fun. So, yep, Kurlos is my best friend, and I love him very, 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 very much. He's perfect. So, Meulin, what do you really think of Mituna? Well, Mituna is Kurlos' Moirail, which I love very much because I ship it. I pale ship it like mad. It's so great. And then he also is in a mate sprite ship with Lachla, which I'm really happy about because I shipped that too. I called that so early before it happened. And everybody was like, whoa, I don't think that's going to actually happen. But I was like, you just wait and see. It's going to happen. I'm telling you. So, and then before the accident, Kurlos and me and Mituna hung out all the time, and so I got to know Mituna before he had his accident, and then I got to know him after he had his accident, and Cancri told me that even though Mituna had an accident, we should still treat him how he was treated beforehand, because just because he has an accident doesn't make him different. And then he said a lot of other stuff too, but I mostly tuned out after the first bit. That's kind of what you have to do with Cancri. So, getting to know Mituna after the accident was kind of a bit of a change because he was kind of getting a little mean, and he kind of misspelled things a lot, but that was okay because I honestly thought it was really adorable of him. And even when he was a little mean, he'd still say sorry afterwards, and that was really nice of him. So, I guess, I still like Mituna even after everything that happened, and I especially like watching him and Latchula together because I ship it so much. Oh my goodness, I could talk for hours about how much I ship them. Like, you should see their matching skateboards. They make them together, and it was so cute, and I got to watch them make them, and during which Matuna was all like, and Latchula... Alright, anyway, we're not going to talk about that right now because that I have so many stories about those two. It's so cute. So, I love Matuna. He's such a sweetie. And so, next question. What are you doing in your free time lately? Oh, honey, you obviously have no idea how shipping works. I don't have any free time. Ever. Because, okay, I have to ship everybody in our group. And I gotta keep shipping Horace and Rufio, even though Damara wants to get in on that. And honey, you don't mess with my mate sprite ships. No way. And so I gotta work on that. And then I gotta work on shipping Cronus, because every day Cronus is coming to me saying, Meulin, I need a mate sprite. I need a mate sprite so much. You need to help me. And I'm like, Cronus, I can't hear you. Nope, I'm not looking at you. I can't hear you. And so I gotta work with him every day, and I gotta try and find somebody who will take him. You know how hard it is trying to find somebody who will actually, like, tolerate Cronus? Here's a hint for you. It's impossible. Nobody will do it. Not even Mina. So I gotta deal with that. And then... that was beforehand. Now I've got 12 other trolls, and then I've got these human kids that I gotta deal with, and then I've got, you know, my troll friends, and then those trolls, and then we've got those kinds of relationships, and then we gotta talk about interspecies relationships, okay? Because then you've got the trolls and the humans. Like, half of this journal is dedicated to how troll relationships with humans would work. And I've got to do observation studies, and I've got to do shipping studies, and oh my goodness, now that everything's going on, like, I had free time a few years ago, back when the dream bubble was still going on, but then this happened, and now I don't have any free time. So, when I used to have free time, it was still all about shipping. Like, even when I had free time, it was still, you know, like, drawing pictures about shipping, and writing fan fiction about shipping, and talking about shipping on Bubbler. It was so... a perpetual matchmaker's work is never done, don't you know? It never stops. And I've lost my place in my dream journal. Oh no. There we go. Okay. So, free time, recap, TLDR, non-existent. Nope, doesn't exist. How do you feel about your Lucius? She's perfect! I love her so much. My kitty mama is such a sweetie. And we get to have kitty cuddles together. And we get to play with balls of yarn together. And we get to do a little bit of catnip together. Although I don't do catnip anymore, because that was an addiction. And it seriously messed up some of my memories. And so, like, I would do some catnip with Curlos. And then Curlos would start talking. And suddenly I'd zone out. And then, like, it would be 2 hours later. And I wouldn't remember a thing. I felt so bad. And like, Curlos was all like, no, it's okay. I love you and I forgive you. But I was like, no, I've forgotten all of our date. So, I don't do catnip anymore with my Lucius, except for occasionally, and it's only a little tiny bit. So, but aside from that, you know, like, I pet her, and then I brush her, and then I scratch behind her ears, and then she and I just have a great time together, and she's such a sweetie, and sometimes she gives me kitty baths, and we just have a really good time, and I got to spend a lot of time with her now that we're in the dream bubble together, and yeah, it's so great. I love it. And plus, she's just a really good kitty mommy. Okay, so, now that you're in the game, are you glad you decided to play? That's a hard question, because while we were in the game, I didn't like playing, because it kind of felt like we weren't really getting along, and that's not something that I really like to do. I don't like being in a situation where people are really angry at each other all the time. So, I guess it kind of was really bad when we were in the game. But then after the game, it got a lot better because suddenly we were all in this dream bubble together. And, I mean, obviously we all died. And that kind of sucked. But it was kind of perfect in a way because during this time together, we got to kind of get to know each other, and we got to spend a lot of time together, and, you know, you won't believe who got together over the sweeps, and there was all of my shipping that I got to do, and then I got to spend a lot of time with Kurlos again, and I got to spend a lot of time with Matuna, and I got to spend a lot of time with Latchula, and I got to see Porum do her little mommy work, and then I got to talk to Kankri, and then I didn't have to talk to Kankri, and depending on what day it is, well, actually, not even depending on what day it is. This option is always the better option, is not talking to Kankri. But don't tell him I said that. So, I guess it was like, during the game, I didn't have a lot of fun. But now that the game is kind of over, I guess it's not over, but now that it's kind of over, I really like how everybody has kind of gotten together and gotten over our differences, and now we can move on. And it's really, really nice. And I'm glad that we got to have this opportunity. So, that's what I think. So as a troll, what do you think about the humans? They're so boring! How do you survive in a society with only one quadrant? One. Because, okay, they obviously have mate sprite ships, and they obviously have auspices, and they obviously have kismesises, but they don't recognize them as actual quadrants. So you're stuck with just mate sprites as quadrants. And it's like, how do you survive with other people when you only have one quadrant to work with? It's like, I could write pages and pages on how the human quadrant system obviously doesn't work because there's no quadrants. And, like, however, on the other hand, now I get to ship them. And now they know what quadrants are. So, I get to introduce them to quadrants, and I get to use the quadrants with them. And it's really, really lots of fun. Because, like, I have the Dirk human, and the Jake human, and the Roxy human, and the Jane human, and then I have the other four, which are John, Rose, Dave, and Jade. Yes, and I get to ship all 8 of them. And even though those 8 have never met, I get to cross-ship them, and then I get to ship them with trolls, too. And shipping humans with trolls is such a hard affair. Like, I need to obviously study Rose and Kanaya and their relationship because I really need to figure out just how this would work in a quadrant system when they only have one quadrant. And so it's like a scientific study where you get to discover like a whole new species, and you're sitting there going, ah! And you're so excited. And that's what I am. I'm very excited, but I'm also kind of bored by them because they only have one quadrant. But anyway, so how do you really feel about buckets? Buckets. I could talk for hours about buckets. Okay, so how do I really feel about buckets? Is that an actual question? Like, am I being trolled right now? So, okay. Half of this book is dedicated to human and troll shipping, and the other half might be fan fiction involving buckets. Oh, I really hope that nobody sees this. Oh my goodness. So I guess how I kind of feel about buckets is pretty much summed up in that statement. Let's just move on to the next question. Okay, I'm getting all giddy. Oh, that was perfect. When you ascended to God tier, how did it feel? Well, the truth is that I never ascended to God tier. And I know that alternate timeline versions of me did. And that was really cool. And I got to see, what my Mage of Heart, because that's what I am, I'm the Mage of Heart, what my Mage of Heart God tier outfit would have looked like if I had gotten there. And I kind of feel really bad because I could have helped my team and I didn't end up doing it. And I mean, I could have helped Horus, who is the Page of Void, and I kind of felt bad that I couldn't really help him. And I could have helped Kurlos, because he's the Prince of Rage, and sometimes he needs a little help. And I guess I could have helped him, and I could have helped a lot of my team. I could have helped, everybody on my team, and I could have helped them with a lot of, their splintering stuff, and I could have helped them just, being there for them, and making sure that everybody was going to be okay. But I guess that didn't happen. And so I kind of feel really bad that I didn't reach God tier. So, yeah. On that cheerful note, this is my video for my audition for this Pester Some Chums panel. And this is Meulin, and I really hope you guys liked my video. So I'll see you all later.